Hello, welcome to Undisputed Boxing. Slightly late this week, apologies. Boxing News Edition, Undisputed Boxing. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. It's a bit of a barren spell with the Euros going on in terms of news and fights coming up, but we'll just have a quick catch up on a few topics. I'm here with Rick. How are we doing?
Good. Through to a fourth semi-final in my life with England. Let's see if final.
I know, yeah, the big one on Wednesday. Yeah. All right, where should we start? It is a little bit quiet. I did pick up on the news that Caleb Plant versus Canelo, it looks kind of in doubt, is what I'm reading. I think it's very unlikely that's going to happen. I don't know what you think or what you're reading.
Yeah, a bit the same, really. Just some interviews just seeing now, and I do think it's the one they want, but it's like, they're going to fight in September no matter what. They're starting to talk about other fighters a little bit. Don't know if that's to put the pressure on. I've heard that DAZN have put some numbers together, given it to Plant's lot, and they're waiting for something to come back. But when is it the date? It's an early September date, isn't it?
Is it? Yeah, they've given them two alternative dates. Is it the 11th and 18th or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know if is there a certain date like there is in May? Is there a certain one in September as well? It's another Mexican thing.
Yes, and obviously they won't want it to clash with AJ Usyk. That's going to be that'll be literally maybe a couple of weeks after. Yeah. But yeah, it is. The other holiday. Yeah,
they're probably going to want it early September. So, well, they're running out of time, aren't they? Really?
Yeah.
So, as expected, this was never straightforward, and you don't know who to believe fully. And Hearn says that he's very happy for him to box on PBC, but it's like, what are the offers? It'll be on pay-per-view. There'll be the problem with that. It'll come in as a, this is what you could earn, but this is what you guaranteed, and it'll be a lot lower, I imagine, the guarantee number than DAZN.
Yeah, because it'll be pay-per-view.
Yeah, or it will be, but we want you to sign with us for 3 fights or 2 fights, and so I imagine it will be something like that will just put them off, which is annoying for us.
Yeah, I'm not mad about the fight though. Are you? Canelo versus Caleb Plant. Would you not rather see Canelo versus a Charlo or Demetrius Andrade?
I'd rather see him step up and fight.
Beterbiev.
Yeah. Never say.
I think Beterbiev is a great fight, but the size difference is going to be huge.
Yeah, because I think he used to be. Didn't he fight Cruiser when he was amateur?
He fought Cruiserweight, and I think he's even fought a heavyweight before.
Yeah.
Like, he's a big dude. I have heard he's very tight at the weight. So Beterbiev apparently is in talks with the American guy. I'm forgetting his name now.
I think that will be his biggest win. I mean,
if he beats Beterbiev, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he probably won't get the boxing people will probably say it's his best win, but I'm not sure if it will go down as his best win.
Yeah.
In terms of names, like that's probably still Triple G, I would have thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the one I'd like to see, because I also think, I mean, I know we've had this debate before. I still think that's a bigger risk to him than a Charlo. And I want to see him in the biggest risk fight possible. I know the Charlo will be a bit more probably pumped and a higher key one.
I just think, Jamal Charlo versus Canelo, I think is a wonderful fight. That's something I'd be really, really pumped for. Really pumped for. But I don't think, I think,
The Plant fight, there's better fights out there, but I suppose, you can't blame him for wanting to, be undisputed at a weight.
Yeah.
Take that box. Earned the rights to do that, really. So we'll see. I mean, I suppose leading on into another topic of ours is just the pay-per-view backlog that's building up in America. I can't remember if they've had tons at the beginning of the year. Probably not. Maybe that's why they think they can get away with it. But I mean, they had the Mayweather fight as pay-per-view, didn't they? I'd have thought.
Yeah.
Tank's just been on pay-per-view. They're going to have Spence and Pacquiao's pay-per-view. They're going to have Fury Wilder 3 pay-per-view. They're going to have that other YouTube farce as pay-per-view.
Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley. That'll be pay-per-view. Yeah.
It's just like there's going to be 4 in the summer, 5 if you include the Mayweather fight, and it's just
and
the numbers. And if you put Canelo in September,
Yeah. But it seems to be a model that's working. I mean, I know it gets a lot of criticism because it sounds like it's a lot of money. But I don't know, is the pay-per-view market different to what it is in the UK? It tends to be a lower price in the UK, but then the pay-per-view figures are really high. But then obviously the pay-per-view in the US is high. But if it does, like Tank Davis versus Barrios apparently did 210,000 pay-per-view buys, which sounds low. But if it's, like you say, $70, $80, like commercially, it's still a success, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose my point is more, well, what will it be like when the summer's done and that all those have been in? Do you know what I mean? I mean, Tank may have got off lightly because he went first, but I think the bigger thing for me is it's now versus something. It's now versus what DAZN will put down as guarantee money.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because they've still got deep pockets, haven't they? They can, they're pretty much sounds like they can outgun Top Rank and PBC on the purse bids if they want to. And obviously you've got this other company now, Triller. Yeah, they're back there on the scene. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I thought that was quite interesting that the Tank Barrios, even though it was almost kind of a dead rubber, turned into it's a fairly reasonably good fight. But yeah, 210,000 pay-per-view buys.
See how it will fall apart. I mean, that's still quite low, How it will fall apart is, there's minimums that have got to be paid, and I don't know what the minimums are. And so either 3 things are going to happen. They're going to be paying the minimums but not getting enough themselves in terms of the promoters, paying the minimums and never really paying anything more than the minimums, and that will get found out over time.
Yeah.
Or the minimums get lower and they never seem to get more than the minimums. So that's what will potentially happen economic wise, because they'll keep, if there's too many pay-per-views, the general numbers will go down, and therefore the minimums will need to go down because there's more risk.
Yeah.
And then done, that's how it will, if it's gonna, I'm not saying it will, but that's how it would start happening. I thought start unraveling, and then big boxes like them will be going, hang on a minute, I'm getting promised this top end number that I never get anywhere near to. So I'm being promised like 5 million minimum and then 25 upside, and I never get more than 7. And while at DAZN I'm being offered something like 20, guaranteed.
Well, all the while that this is happening, it's obviously favouring DAZN and Matchroom, isn't it, in the US market? If they just continue doing that on that kind of trajectory, paying that kind of money, eventually people are just going to lose faith with pay-per-view and go with the guarantee.
Well, that means that they can control their risk. They know what their subscriptions are, so they can forecast revenues far better than the pay-per-view guys. It's all estimates. Don't get me wrong, they're not. I wouldn't have thought they're bollock estimates, but they are estimates, and that's why. I'd love to see the paperwork. I bet that the minimums to the upward side are huge, in terms of, stuff. Whereas they can be more bullish with their guarantees because they know exactly what numbers are coming in.
Yeah, you've got your accountancy head on now, haven't you? It is interesting, but I mean, I think it's been fairly consistent though over the year. Like if you look at Andre Ward versus Kovalev, I don't think either of those 2 fights, as good a fight as it was, an amazing, build up and all the rest of it, I don't think either of them breached the 200,000 pay-per-view buys mark. It's just, it's how it's been for years and years. I don't see how it'll change.
Well, it depends. I suppose it will change if there's too many of them.
Yeah, if there's a saturation, yeah.
And on top of that, if there's the DAZN, not only is the DAZN money potentially, so I don't, Ward was a great fighter, but I don't think he made like as much money as some of them did in the sport. You know what I mean? Because he was never what I remember as like mega fights. Don't get me wrong, he did well, but he wouldn't have earned like the sum of money like probably Spence will end up making in his career. I wouldn't have thought. Depends when Spence retires, but also with DAZN coming along, people are paying a monthly fee to that. Are they going to go, well, actually, I'm not going to pay for pay-per-view as well as my monthly fee? So there's that element as well. I've got, I'd rather watch this boxing. So it's not just the pay-per-views eating into each other. It's DAZN's monthly subscription eating into that pay-per-view model.
Yeah.
And Triller if they're doing it, So things are changing. It might hold up. It depends how good the product is. Not those things.
Yeah, well, let's hope it's all good for boxing, and we continue to get a good schedule from all of the networks. I do think I don't know. It feels like we're coming into a bit of a barren spell. There doesn't seem to be that much to get excited about at the moment.
No, we had a bit of a run, didn't we? Where there was quite a few fights, and I'm sure it will come back together again soon. Starting really with the Wilder Fury fight, and then we should be into some, better stuff. Spence pack up, and then hopefully Fury, Joshua, and then Canelo, and
Yeah. What have you heard in terms of like matchups? Is there any kind of news or gossip? Any potential matchups that you're hearing about at the moment?
What I'm hearing about a bit is Prograis and Garcia.
Oh yeah, okay, I think I saw that
at 140, but obviously it won't be for any belt. So whether that makes it an issue. But that'll be a great fight. That'll be a great fight for no, but in terms of that's a better quality fight than a lot of world title fights.
Yeah, no, it really is.
But they won't have a world title billing, which might hurt it commercially. I don't know.
I wonder where that would end up. Because I don't think either fighter is with any particular network either. So I think Prograis, isn't he with Lou DiBella? And Mikey Garcia, I think, just kind of floats around, doesn't he?
DAZN won it.
Okay.
I think DAZN won it. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that's a good fight. Who's Prograis? I mean, Mikey Garcia's not fought for age. I think he fought in like February 2020.
Yeah.
Who's Prograis fought after his defeat? He has fought a couple of times, hasn't he? Since he lost his belt to Taylor.
Quick look. I should know this. Yeah, I mean, Mikey Garcia is 33 now, hasn't fought in 18 months. Don't forget he had that 2-year kind of barren spell, I think, between 2014 2016.
Yeah.
So he kind of really needs to get a move on with his career. Prograis fought Ivan Redkach in April. So he's actually only just fought. And he fought Juan Heraldez, which was the fight he had after the Josh Taylor defeat.
Who do you favour in that fight? Because I think Garcia was always at his best at 135.
I would probably go difficult one. I do like Prograis. He's heavy-handed, and he nearly beat Josh Taylor. And Josh Taylor is getting all the plaudits now, and it's very small margins that he lost that. It just goes to show the difference in quality. Probably Garcia, I think, at 140. I do think Garcia is better at 135, but at 140, I still think he would have. He's got a broader kind of set of skills and repertoire.
Yeah, I'd probably go Pro.
Would you?
Yeah.
It's a great fight. I'd love to see it. We need that. We need some more 50-50 fights like this. There doesn't seem to be that many of them around at the moment. But yeah, I would love that.
My only worry about it being made is because it's such a close fight and both camps know it. It's like, how much money do they want for it? Because the losers are...
Yeah, because they're both wrong side of 30. It doesn't really give them a lot of options if they do lose it, or if it's not a great fight and they lose it. then it's like, where are they going to be? Where do they go next?
I suppose it don't think it propels either of them massively. It just probably says, right, you're up for another belt when it comes free. Do you know what I mean? It's not a propelling job. I mean, you might say Garcia it is because he's not fought for ages, but do you know what I mean? It's not like suddenly, I don't know. That's why I struggle to see if it will be made. There's a lot of risk. You'll need a lot of money. Is it going to create that money? And what's the upside if you win?
Yeah.
Is it an upside? I don't know. I mean, you know, it might be better, or what he might want to do is wait till until there's any vacations made of the belt, and it's full belt. But
Yeah. Well, I think that's potentially going to be on the cards, isn't it? If Josh Taylor does relinquish all of his belts. I haven't heard any news about him and Jack Catterall, because that was supposed to be the next fight, wasn't it? Him and Jack Catterall fighting.
Yeah. A few other things I've heard is a Coley to fight in America later in the summer. Don't know if he's headlining a card or on a card.
Anything on Dillian White?
No, just keep saying America, and the guy who I mentioned on the last video that was his favourite for fighting. I've not heard much else. I've just seen him having arguments with and weightlifting competitions with Wilder, which is daft, and some beef with Charles Martin. Charles Martin's doing. I mean, I wish some of these fights are like mouthing off, making videos, just actually get in the ring and fight.
I know. Yeah, it's one of the frustrating things about the sport, to be honest with you. It's a lot of clout chasing, not a lot of follow through. Yeah, part of it, unfortunately. All right, when's the next prediction? I don't think we've got a prediction vid in the diary. When are we going to do? Is the next one going to be Wilder Fury, or I should say Fury Wilder 3? That'll be the next prediction vid.
I think so. I mean, there'll be a lot of vids that weekend, I think, so we'll be up together. So we'll do a bit more on the way in and stuff like that. We'll do maybe a very early evening. Well, we've got oh no, I know one. It's the same. I don't know if we've already done this, but it's Takam fighting
Joe Joyce.
Yeah.
What date is that?
It's the same night.
Okay, yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
But we're going to be making 3 or 4 videos that day, I think.
We could do a prediction on the undercard as well, because there's some really good fights on the undercard. F.A. Ajagba versus Frank Sanchez, and then Helenius Kawanaski rematch.
Yeah. So looking for that's good to look forward to. The BT card this weekend. The
Lyndon Arthur.
Yeah, the
Archie Sharp, Dennis McCann.
Yeah, not a lot of. I don't know. We were saying this before we started the video. I don't know if there's a lot of bum fights just because it's the football and no one's competing and want to compete with it, even though there's nothing on the Saturday night. But I don't know. Yeah. Just feel hard, doesn't it, on Saturday from BT? They'll just keep going almost. We've got Fight Camp coming up, but we've already said that nothing in there's getting us overexcited. Good to see, some of the up and comers in Britain out again, but nothing that really gets the blood going, is there?
No, not really at all. I'm really disappointed actually with Fight Camp. And look, I think Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, they have done an awesome job probably over the last sort of 8 to 10 years, but I do think that their schedule isn't what it used to be. They need to put, he does need to pull a rabbit out of the hat, in my opinion, over the next couple of months to get something, to get everybody excited again, especially with the whole disappointment with AJ Fury. Not his fault, but there isn't really anything to get the juices flowing.
I wonder if they lost quite a bit of money in the pandemic, and now they're trying to recoup it. Now that fans are going to be coming back. I mean, the ticket prices for Fight Camp are about 750 quid, though it is pretty much ringside.
Yeah, but that is an absolute liberty. £750 a ticket for that as well, for those fights. It's just...
It's only a few hundred, though, isn't it? So it's just like the O2. an O2 fight, but just having the ring sides.
Yeah,
there's only a few hundred though, isn't there? So it's not like there's.
I get it. I know it's an exclusive. It's almost kind of like an exclusive kind of almost club kind of, but it's still, yeah, not
I mean,
something I'm going to be queuing up for. I tell you.
I don't problem.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing, really. You know, they as long as they shift them, it's they've got the right price. You know, yeah. So yeah, it's just hope there's a bit more news. But yeah, we'll do. I reckon we'll end up doing actually more like 6 or 7 videos that night.
What, the Wilder Fury thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
We'll have to see if we've got time. All right, cool. Let's wrap it up. Thanks everybody for listening. All right, take it easy.